In speaking back to the heritage of the West that has been imposed upon me and the English language, I also like to think about my forebears, my ancestral poets, my antecedents, and their own tussling and wrestling with this great, glorious, and sometimes oppressive canon. So one of my forebears is the African-American poet Phyllis Wheatley, who was the first Black poet to publish a book-length collection of poetry, which she did in 1773. And one of her big influences was John Milton. And so I'm imagining in this poem that I am Phyllis Wheatley writing to John Milton. And so the title of the poem is To Milton by Phyllis Wheatley, 1773. And it does rhyme. Homer, homely poet, crafts elegies, pleasing Neptune, teasing Odysseus. But I, much darker than the Portuguese, for instance, only havoc the muses. I'm deemed capable of mimicking songs that laurel some sexual Ulysses. Terms slummy and sooty proscribe my lungs. My breath blasts tars, alabaster lilies. Born under Africa's star-sugared sky, I'm cast as benighted, a soul of hurts. Nameless I am, but ink has memory. I see my man, tears start as her blood spurts. Wanton was her murder, random her dust. Once a Christian acted his fraud of love. Blood flashed, the bright epitome of rust. His sword bled a stain no tears can remove. The pale sailor, a paladin of Mars, espousing his infernal faith, played black pranks of crime, insulting the survivors whose lack of poetry is our lungs' lack. For our hearts' cries, bruise and hurt eloquence to ungovernable noise like my lines. That voice, my tribe's untempered turbulence, perishes crushed under slavers' machines. Homer, Virgil, blamed for hyperbole, could not exaggerate, but jot aright the ruddy blot of Europe's villainy, her lust to bleed sable Africa white. I shan't praise sunny tresses, ivory nicks, unlike Ovid, nor lips buffed by coral. My muse must dispute the choir of insects sired by cruel conquistador Portugal. I turn to Terence, my black bro by birth, to bring brawling illiterates to book and demonstrate black, damned, adamant worth. Our tongues, our arms, false history mistook. And thee, Milton, glorious, heroic, whose ample romance even God must read, thou inspire poets to be Miltonic, disciples to thy gilded, sun-sparked lead. No nymph leaking tears can I lastly be, nor neoclassic metaphysical. A rash, brash poetess must I be, inspired by thee, but dire as Hannibal.